So for loop in Python. Let's say I have x is equal to guys, can you hear me? Please raise your hand. Thank you so much. Yeah. Let's say I have a list value x is equal to a, b, c, and the second value is 23 and 16.2. So here, if you observe, I'm going to write for loop, and here we have to write one variable. Let's say I. Basically, I is a variable. I'm writing in, that is syntax, x colon. I'm going to print I value. So just look at the screen here. Here, I want to print the x value one by one. See, x is a list. First value, 0th position value is ABC, and the first position value is 23. Second position value is 16.2. I want to print all the values which are available in x variable. So in that case, see, if you want to print one by one values from your array, we have to use uh, for loop, right? See, if you want to check only the condition one time, we have to use if if statement. But here, I am going to repeat the same action. I'm going to print this, next this one, right? So I'm going to repeat the same action. For the iteration or repetition, you can use for loop. So if you observe here, for I in X, so I'm just creating one variable here. No need to initialize the variable with 0 or 1. Here I'm writing a keyword in, and I'm providing my array, or I'm providing my list. So my intention is I want to print each and every value which is available in the X. Should starts from the 0. And I'm going to print I. So in this case, first I will call this 0 value. So you will get ABC on the screen. Next 23. Next 16.2. We are repeating the same steps. So just look at the screen here. Here I'm going to write x is equal to, you can create a list, set, tuple or dictionary. It's up to you. ABC, that's a string, and I'm going to create 56, 45.4. So I'm going to use for loop for I in X. No need to provide the range. Here you have to follow the indentation because we are specifying the statements, loop statements, right? So if you observe here, first I got ABC, next 56, next 45.4. In case, let's say I have only ABC is there. Let me execute it. First I'll get A, then I'll get B, then I'll get C. So here, if you observe, In C language, we use it to assign I value like 0 or 1, something like that, right? But here, no need to assign any value. Automatically, it will start from the first line. In case, let's say I am going to remove this line and I am going to write the same list here instead of creating a separate variable for it, you can also write like this. You can create a dictionary, a list, and you can execute it directly. No need to store your list value in a separate variable. See, in the previous example, I created a variable x is equal to abc, some value, right? I created one list. But here, I'm just saving one particular line space. There is no use of assigning a list to the variable. You can also mention directly a list value in the for loop. So that's the point. If you want to use range values will start from the first number to last plus one number. For example, if you want to print 1 to n values, you have to write 1 comma end value should be n plus 1 because range is the function under for loop. So here in Python, for loop is very, very easy, right? So I want to explain few easy for loop examples because anyways we are familiar with the uh, if statement. Next, for I already explained range method, right? If you want to print in natural numbers, you can use for I in range of that particular n value. Here, first I'm going to ask user uh, int. I'm converting that into integer variable because by default I'll get the value in string format. Int of input of I'm asking user enter to n value because I want to print in natural numbers. Here for I in you have to just mention range. So within this range, you can mention starting value to the end value. But here, if I provide n, I will get value still n minus 1. So if you want to include that n value, let's say I want to print natural numbers till 3, but I got 0, 1, 2. If you want to include that 3, you have to write n plus 1 so that you will get 0, 1, 2, 3 till the last number. So we can use range function like this, or you can use it for a different purpose also. So let me write that one. Let me comment this n value. Here, look at the screen. I'm just writing range start value, comma, end value, comma, step value. So let's see what is this step. Oh, okay. I have to use a symbol hash for commenting in Python. Yeah. Look at the screen, look at the output. Within the range method, I provided start value, stop value, and difference value, or you can call it as a step value. Start, stop, step. So here it starts at 1, stops before 10, increments by 2. So 1 and 1 step off, then 3, 4 off, 5, 6 off, 7, 8 off, 9. So I want to print number in between 1 and 100, and I want to mention a stop value over here because every time I'm incrementing the value by 2. This loop prints odd numbers between 1 and 9. So you can also uh, write like this. For example, there is a word W is equal to Python. So here I'm going to use for loop I in word, sorry, W. Here I'm going to print I value. See, I got different characters. The loop iterates over each character in the string. You can use for loop for string, list, set, tuple, and dictionaries. Here, you can also add else block. So how to add else block to for loop? So let's see. So I want to create one for loop for I in range of 3. So within this, I'm going to print I value. You can add else block to the for loop. Print I. Here I'm adding else block. So till now we learned else block is relevant to the if statement, right? So in Python, you can also add else block to the for loop. So here I'm mentioning I want to print numbers from 0 to 3. So I'll get 0, 1, 2, not 3. Whenever I'm going to, not me, compiler going to reach the third value, automatically I want to finish this loop. So in the first iteration, I will get 0. In the second iteration, I will get 1. In the third iteration, I will get 2. Whenever my compiler is going to reach the third value, automatically I'll get the message that is loop finished. See, first within first iteration, I got 0. Because here I mentioned for I in range, comma, range of 3. So I value always starts from the initial value that is 0. So for I in range 3, so first 0 value, then 1 value, then 2. I already informed that n value not included. If you want to print n value, you have to add n plus 1. So every time this statement is correct until unless I is going to reach the value 3. If it is 3, it will jump to else block, and I mean 3 means end value. Whenever my compiler is going to reach the end value, there is no other values to perform the operations, right? So automatically it will jump to the else block and it will print loop finished statement. So I hope you understand. You can add else block to the for loop. The else block executes only when the loop completes normally without a break. You can also use break statement in loop, breaking a loop. This example for the else block. If you want, please note it down. Then I will explain breaking a loop. It's very important to have the program knowledge. Everybody, please try to note down whatever the programs I'm teaching. Next, breaking a loop value. So let's see how to break it. Here I am going to write the range value, that is 10. So how to use the break keyword? First we have to use if statement. Whenever I is going to reach value 5, I want to break it. Print stopping at. Here I just want to mention the position. So here I'm, yes, you can use else statement without if statement, because in the previous example I added else block without if statement, right? Within the for loop also you can add. So here I'm using break. If I, whenever I is going to reach 5, automatically my execution will stop and it will break. Here I'm using break and I'm just writing this I. So just look at the screen. In the first iteration, I got 0. In the second iteration, I got 1. Guys, just give me a minute. Yeah, sorry, guys. Yeah, here in the first iteration, I got 0. In the second iteration, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Here I have a condition. Whenever I'm going to reach my I value 5, I'm going to break the iteration. I'm going to print the statement stopping at 5 and I'm going to break the iteration. right? So the break statement stops the loop when I is 5. Basically, I'm going to repeat the steps till I'm going to reach 10, right? But here I'm using break. You can use a break within the for loop. You can use else statement within the for loop without using if statement. So if we are going to use break, you can also use continue, right? Let me explain the continue statement. I'm just placing comments symbol, hash symbol in front of the statement. Now let me execute it. See, here if you observe, I have to use continue, not break. Yeah, just look at the screen. I value starts from 0. Yes, that's a default value. No need to assign it because Python is the advanced version of the all the programs, right? We have an advanced compiler here. Without providing a data type, automatically it's detecting the data type, right? Yes, whenever I'm going to write for I in range 10, that means here my condition is I greater than 10 and I value always starts from 0. Here I didn't mention any kind of value like a 0 or a 1 or a 2, right? Yes, I always starts from 0. So in the first iteration, let me write, yeah, in the first iteration, I value 0, right? So it will jump to the if block 0 double equal to 5 condition false, then it will jump to this print statement. Okay, let me explain this. Here I'm writing 3 and here I'm writing 5. I just changed the values. Okay, so here is output. Just a minute, I will explain it. Just look at the screen here. So here within this line, I'm going to write for I value starts from 0 and the range is 5, right? So that means there are values from 0 to 4, 5 not included, right? The last end value is not included. So here are my values. So next line, if I double equal to 3, what is the I current value? 0. 0 within the first iteration number 1, 0 double equal to 3 condition false. If the condition false, it will jump out of the if loop. So in inner body of the if loop is this continue statement, but the condition is false, right? So it will jump to this print I statement. I value is 0. You will get 0 on the screen. Next, again, iteration. No need to write I plus plus. Now I value will become 1. 1 double equal to 3. Again, condition false. Again, it will jump out of the loop. You will get 1. Next, 3. I value will become a 2. 2 double is equal to 3. Condition again false. If the condition is false, again it will jump to print of I and you will get I value that is 2. Now, fourth iteration I value will become a 3. 3 double is equal to 3. Condition true. If the condition is true, I am going to print the statement continue. That means again I am going to continue the iteration. That is 5. I value will become a 4. 4 double equal to 3. Condition false. So it will jump out of the loop print of I. So I value is 4. I'm done with this first, second, third, fourth, fifth value now. I value will become a 6. I is equal to 5. So basically range value is almost reached. There is no value. Whenever I'm going to reach that end value, my iteration will be done. and I will get the output 0, 1, 2, 4. Here I mentioned continue means I'm not going to print that value, I'm just continuing the execution, right? So you have to understand how to use else block and how to use break, how to use continue. So all these statements are very, very important. Whenever you are going to develop advanced programs or projects, apps, you should learn. See, we have a knowledge that we have to use else block whenever we are going to use if block, right? Till now, because we did the same thing in C language. But you can, in advanced programming languages, you can use else block within the for loop also, right? So, yeah, next one. So try to understand. You can use break, continue, and else block. Next, while block. So I'm going to use while loop. Let's explain the basic while loop first. So the while loop in Python executes a block of a code as long as the given condition is true. So if the condition is false, automatically it will jump out of the loop, right? So the while loop executes a block of a code as long as the given condition is true. So let me explain one basic example. Let's say I have I value that is 1. Now I'm going to write, oh, what happened? Yeah. So I'm going to write while, here I'm writing the condition. Same, you have to write the condition. Here I'm going to write the condition while I less than or is equal to 5. So it runs until I becomes greater than 5, right? Because I mentioned is equal to. Now I'm going to write the statement, not semicolon, colon, use the indentation, print of I. So in C language, initialization, condition, increment and decrement, right? So here you have to increment the value, but if you want to increment I value, you have to use I is equal to I plus 1, or you can also use, instead of I plus plus, we are using this. I plus is equal to 1. You can use any statement. You can use I plus I equal to I plus 1 or I plus is equal to 1. Let me execute this. See, numbers from 1 to 5. Let me explain this. So initially I assigned one value to my I. Now I value is 1. Next year I am checking the condition while I less than or is equal to 5. So it runs until I become greater than 5. What is the condition? I less than or equal to 5. What is the current I value? Within the first iteration, I value is 1. So 1 less than or is equal to 5. Condition true or false? Condition true. If this condition is true, I am going to print the inner body of the while loop. Within the inner body, I am going to print I value. So what is the current I value? 1. Next step, I equal to I plus 1. I equal to, the current I value is 1. 1 plus 1. So I value will become 2. Now I value is 2. And the second iteration, again it will jump to the statement 2 less than or equal to 5. Condition true. The condition is true. I am going to print the current I value. Current I value is 2. And I am going to print that on the screen. So like this, we are going to increment the value, and I'll get the output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I have a doubt. I added else block to the for loop, right, in the previous example. Now I want to add the same else block to my while. Let's see. I want to add else block. So whenever I'm going to reach fifth value, it should stop. I mean, 1, because I initialized I with 1, otherwise it will start from 0. I want to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because I used the condition I less than or is equal to 5, is equal to is there. So after fifth value, I just want to raise an error, or I just want to inform developer that loop is finished. So for that, I'm going to use else block. So whenever it's going to reach fifth iteration, after that, I'm going to print loop finished. See, I got I value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after fifth iteration, I value will become 6, right? 6 less than or is equal to 5. Condition false. So it will jump to the else block and it will print loop finished. Okay, let me explain this. So here my I value is 1. I'm going to execute this line while I less than or is equal to 3. 1 less than or is equal to 3, condition true. If the condition is true, I'm going to execute these two lines or inner body of the while loop. Print I value. So what is the current I value? 1. Now I'm going to increment the I value. I is equal to I plus 1. I value is 1. 1 plus 1, 2. Now I value will become a 2. Second iteration, 2 less than or is equal to 3. Condition true. If the condition is true, again I'm going to print the I value. The current I value is 2. And I'm going to increment the I value, that is 2 plus 1. I value will become 3. Third iteration, 3 less than or is equal to 3. 3 less than 3 is wrong statement, but 3 is equal to 3 is the correct statement. So I value will become 3. 3 plus 1, so I value will become a 4. And I have to print the I value. Current I value is 3. So here is the output 1, 2, 3. Now this is the first iteration, second iteration, third iteration. Now I value will become a 4. 4 less than or equal to 3. I'm executing this particular line. Condition false, right? If the condition is false, it will jump to the else statement and it will print loop finished. Right? So let me, yeah. So you can use else block without if. You can also use break. You can also use continue. See, in interview point of view, recently I have seen, I think that's Accenture Drive. So they asked students to write infinite loop code using Python. That means, see, I want to print the same statement again and again. How many times? No limit. So let me write that using while block, while loop, while. No need to write any condition. I'm just providing a statement called true. So within this true statement, I want to print high string value. See, compiler is continuously printing the high. See, see how many highs are there. Still it's printing. See, I'm just changing the cursor. So if you want to print it on, see, my program is still executing. I have to stop executing and I'm going to write break. It will print only one time and it will break break it. So I'm just uh, doing it manually, right? So here it's a continuous loop. So whenever I'm going to write a break, it will print high once and it will break the execution. Uh, I have a question now. I want to print 100 times high. I want to print 100 times. After that, I don't want to print it. So in that case, no need to use this while true. While true is for the continuous execution. Here I'm going to use count 0. I'm writing the condition while count less than 100. Then I want to print high. And I have to increment the count value. Count plus is equal to 1. See, 100 times high. Only 100 times. Mm. I'm converting I value into string. I'm just typecasting it. See, 100 times high. You can also provide space here. Yeah. So for the just doubt clarification, here I added one variable that is I, starts from 1. So here I'm trying to print that particular one value here, but one is integer value, high is a string value. I cannot concatenate one string value with one integer value. That's the reason I converted I value to the string. This is called typecasting. See, you should understand the error first, then you have to write the alternative ways. I want to print the I value, but I is an integer, right? So here high is a string value. So only one option is typecasting. We have to convert or we have to typecast the integer value from number to or into to string. So we have to just pass the data type in front of that variable automatically. Whatever the data which is available within the I, it will convert to the string, right? At the same time, here I am incrementing the count that is for the condition. At the same time, I am incrementing the I value. So here, if you observe the output, 1 high. 1 is nothing but this value. So high is constant, right? 2 high, 3 high, 4 high. Every time I is incrementing. Whenever I'm going to reach 100, because C value is less than 100, whenever I'm going to reach 100, automatically it will terminate the loop. Here also you can use a break, you can use continue within this while loop. So major difference between for loop and while loop is If you know the number of iterations, you can directly use for loop. If you're not sure about the number of iteration, you can use while loop. And yeah, in this class I explained for loop, while loop, difference between for loop and while loop. Difference, yeah. Yeah. So now I want to explain the major differences between for and while loop. These are very, very important. One point I explained, that is, whenever you are sure about the number of iterations, you have to use for loop. If you are not sure about the number of iterations, you have to use a while loop. Then what is the syntax of for loop? We have to use for with range, list, right? Or tuple or dictionaries. So while it will execute through a condition, so that condition is going to checked before each and every iteration, right? And as I mentioned, for loop iterates over a sequence, that is nothing but list, set, tuple, strings. So if you want to use for loop, you have to use uh, a sequences like list, tuple, strings, set, dictionaries. Whereas a while loop, it repeats as long as a condition remains true. So next major differences. For loop is like more readable when dealing with sequences, and while loop, uh, see, it's completely depend whenever you are going to write any program which depends upon the condition, so you have to directly use while loop. And basically while loop is a slower, a bit slower if we compare with for loop. The thing complexity of the for loop is little high. So in real-time programs, instead of a for loop, both will have the same priority, but for is for only sequences kind of a data, but while will work through a condition, right? So next program, you can execute all your palindrome, Armstrong number using this while loop. So Armstrong number is nothing but sum of cubes of individual number should is equal to a given number. That's wrong statement. Basically, that's a correct statement for only three-digit numbers. So the definition is sum of, you have to find out the number of digits in the given number. Based upon that, we have to calculate the Armstrong number, right? In Python, Armstrong number is quite easy program. First, I'm going to declare int value. I'm asking user int n value, int of input, enter a. By reading this message, user will enter some value, and I'm going to take some zero, same logic. Next, temporary variable, So here I'm assigning my n value to the temporary variable. After that, first we have to calculate number of digits, right? Let's say digits d is equal to how to count the number of digits in a given string using length keyword, len of n value, right? So if you want, I'll print the d. So here 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 digits are there. 4 digits are there, right? In my given input 2, 3, 4, 5 type error object of a type int has no length. Int has no length. So you have to convert this into string. See, number of digits I got 4. So this D will have number of digits. Now I'm going to write condition while temp or n greater than 0. If this condition is true, digit is equal to temp. Temp is nothing but n value. Temp modulo division by 10. Same exact statement. It extract the last digit. Next, sum is equal to sum plus digit into d I already used. Just use r. Yeah. Or instead of temp, I can use n. Same logic. C logic. N modulo division by 10. Sum is equal to sum plus digits, not digits, r into digits, because I'm performing the Armstrong number. D is nothing but digits. Next, n equal to n by 10. So I'm done the logic. Now I'm going to write if loop. If my temp comparing with S, if this is true, given number is the Armstrong number. I'm just printing yes. If this statement is false, it will jump to the else block and print no. Name print. Okay, that's a string, right? Yes, 342 is not a Armstrong number. 153 is an Armstrong number. And 4-digit one, 1634 is an Armstrong number. There is a problem with the connection. There is a problem with this compiler. Everybody, please try to execute this program. Python program to check Armstrong number. Initially, I have assigned n value, then sum, then temporary variable. I assigned same n value to the temporary variable. Next, I have written the statement. Before going to write the statements, here I am calculating the number of digits in the given number. Based upon that, I'm checking whether the given number is an Armstrong number or not. So please execute this program and share the output with me. I hope you have my mail ID. Please take a screenshot, execute this program, and share the screenshot. If you have any doubts, please mail me. Thank you. Good night.